Good morning, McKenna. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Valentina?
I'm doing good, a little bit tired, but I'm good. Thank you for joining me today. I want to get started. So basically, can you tell us a little bit about the tutoring department? As a tutor, what is your role in the department? And how does it affect students? How can students use this
hmm
as a tool?
Okay. Well, tutoring is first off, we have a center for tutoring on each of the five campuses. And now the hours for each differ a little bit, but for the most part, we stay consistent. Um, the tutoring that we give to students is where they come in with problems of their classwork or homework, whatever it can may be. They come in and then we sit down with them one on one and we help them work through their problems. So like if they don't understand how to start on their homework, like if they have a math problem, they don't know what formulas to use, we can kind of sit down with them and lead them to the right answer. We try our best to just not give them the answer outright. We want them to kind of figure it out on themselves, but we are also there to like just give them a helping hand. That being said, we are not content experts. Most of us are peer tutors, so we're students ourselves. And so that kind of limits some of the stuff we can do. Um, for instance, we can't say like there might be some problems that we don't necessarily know how to solve, and so we'll recommend you go to the professor to get help for that one specific problem. But we will try our best to help you figure it out. Um, Now, most of the tutors that we have are going to be certified to tutor in their specific field or however many fields they do. So, for example, I tutor biology, chemistry, computer science, and math because I've taken classes in those and I've passed them. So I know what to expect with those so I can help. See
Awesome.
now.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I feel like you covered that question really well. I mean, because that's basically what tutoring is. Everybody kind of knows tutoring from high school, but it just looks a little different in college. There's like an actual place to go, and you
Yeah.
have somebody that's there to help you
hmm
specifically. It's not like group setting necessarily.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
my next question is, do you guys help? And I think you kind of already touched on this, but just so students know, do you guys help with like specific study tools or like study skills?
mhm.
Or are you just going to help students with content?
No, we also help them with study skills and various methods that they can use. Now, those tools and methods might be content specifics, like if they're having trouble studying for math, then we might recommend them to just do a bunch of practice and with math problems of the similar type. And for those, we will either give them worksheets or they can go find them in other places. It's all based off of what the student wants and needs. Um, Biology, on the other hand, we might have them make flashcards so that they can just go through it and memorize stuff. It all just depends on what problem that student is having and in what subject.
And I guess that brings me to my next question. What subjects do you guys not really tutor in?
hmm Um, so we don't really do a lot of writing in English. Um we have a writing center on campus and online that you can go and get help from with your writing stuff. Like if you're writing a paper for a class and you're not sure if it's right or if the grammar's right, you can submit it to them and schedule an appointment and they will help you with that. But beyond that, we don't really have in-person tutoring for history or sociology, those kinds of subjects. But we do have a lot of STEM tutors that you can come and meet in person. That being said, if you're looking for a specific tutor, You can fill out a form online, and our assistant director of over tutoring will help you get in touch with a tutor that can help you. So it's not just limited to just STEM and writing. We have others online that you can get help from.
Alright, and if I have specific needs on homework assignments, you've already touched that you guys can help with that, but can you explain more of the process of what it's like when you come in, you have problems? You said that you guys don't just give students the answer, you want to work through them. What does that process look like hands-on?
All right. So that would be like we prefer that you at least attempt some of the problems on the homework. Like just try to work through it. That way you know what your issue is before you come in. That way we can spend more time helping you instead of figuring out what it is you're having issues with. That being said, if you don't understand what you just went through in class, you can come in and we'll help you. And so that's going to be like you asking questions like, what does this mean? Or how would I go about solving this? And we might lead you off with like, do you have any notes from class or from the textbook? If so, can you pull them out? Let's go to this part where you either covered it in class or it was missed or you just forgot about it because that can happen sometimes. Um, and then we'll kind of ask you questions like, so what do you think would be the best way to solve this? And then after you give your response, we'll either be like, yeah, that's a good way to solve it, or why don't we look at some other way? Um, just to kind of help you get to the answer on your by yourself, but we will be there to help you.
Yeah, that's really good to hear because a lot of students assume that when you go into tutoring, they're just going to help you with this assignment. They're kind of going to guide you through the answers, but you're not, but it's really much more of a collaborative process.
Hmm.
Um, so my next question is there's another department called supplemental instruction. We've done an interview with them that students will see or have seen. Can you explain a little bit of the differences between your department tutoring and then supplemental instruction?
Hmm. The main difference between the two is the number of students that we're helping at a time. So supplemental instructors might address a group of five or fewer or more, depending on who comes to their sessions. But with tutors, it's really one on one. So we're kind of like tuned in to specifically what the student needs help with. And we try to help that student by themselves, like because what might work for one student might not necessarily work for the other. So we have to like tailor the our help to each student's needs. Now that being said, a bunch of students can come in as a big group, and then that's going to take a little bit of time away from each student getting their personal help. But if they're in the group, then they can also work together to work on stuff. For example, I've had about six chemistry students come in at a single time, um, looking for help, and they were all working on the same stuff, and so they would pretty much work together and help themselves whenever they're doing it. But then I was also there to float around the group and give my give help when they need it or when available. So that's probably the biggest difference. The other is that we don't know specifically what the professor is teaching. Like the supplemental instructor gets to sit in on the class, but we don't really know what that teacher has specifically touched on because some teachers might focus on other subjects over others. We just know overall what is being covered in the class just because we have taken it before and not necessarily with the same professor that the student is taking.
Awesome. I think you've answered all of my questions so far. Is there anything else that you want to touch on or mention before we sign off?
Um, yeah, so one thing that should be addressed is that there's no cost to getting tutoring. It's absolutely free. You already pay for it in your tuition, so if you're worried about how much it's going to cost to come in get tutoring, don't worry about it. It's free to come. And also, we have a wide range of availability. So the Dahlonega campus tutoring center is open from 8 to 8, so you can walk in at any time, and there should be somebody there to help you with any subject. Um, and also, we have online tutoring 24/7. And again, you can go in and fill out the request a tutor form, and they can meet you anywhere on campus that you need in a time. But we also have tutoring through Teams. There's a tutoring channel where you can go in and get help immediately if there's some class that you need help with. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for touching on all that. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Hmm.
Hope you have a great rest of your day. And just thank you again for teaching students about your department and how it can be a useful tool, especially in their first year of school.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Hmm. Bye.